All right, so this next interview is with YouTuber Jimmy Zhang. He's got 1.5 million subs. It's a wide-ranging conversation from like this guy talks about his porn addiction, this guy talks about dating, how anime helped with his life, how addiction ultimately can help lead to success, how he started getting into personal growth. There's a lot around dating as well. He has a lot of travel plus dating videos that he does. I mean, there's dating videos where he is going on a first date with a girl in the airport. It's a great conversation. And without further ado, here's the interview. Jimmy Zhang, how did you overcome anxiety to become a 1.5 million YouTube sub guy?
Anxiety, overcoming anxiety. I feel like anxiety is so potent when I was a kid growing up. I think especially like as an immigrant child, I wasn't really brought up with a lot of American customs, and it's just being just dropped in this world where it's like, well, first of all, everybody's speaking English. I'm not. I came in when I was I think like six years old. So already I'm anxiety upon just I didn't even want to go to school. The first time I went to school, I cried.
You're a fob.
Yeah, I'm a fob, and then I was and it's like my parents didn't really know how to even talk me through anxiety, how to even cope with anxiety, how to deal with it. So I had no reference, I had no guidance on how to get through it. So it was really just I think coping with it with like really bad habits, really bad addictions like video games. I don't know how explicit I can get.
Go ahead, get explicit.
Porn.
Yeah.
Like I had like a porn addiction when I was a kid. Anime, defaulted to anime.
Yeah.
So it was like a lot of that like growing up. So and then I would just go back to my little man cave back at home, right?
Yeah.
So like anxiety, it was like overbearing, especially at school, talking to girls.
Yeah.
Just overwhelm me with anxiety. So it wasn't until I started my YouTube, and when I started reading books on like, okay, how to slowly like rewire my brain with like, okay, if this is the life, like it's kind of reading the books helped me like paint a vision for myself in the future to like, oh, I don't have to live like this, so like the videos slowly pull me out of my shell. But like the very first video I shot, I still remember, it was at Central Park in New York City, and like and it wasn't even like the crazy questions I would ask now. It was like some simple like deep philosophical question like, oh, what was your most life-changing story, right? Just simple, and even that was like and but I knew deep down that like the only way to get over my anxiety and my shyness is to force myself. There is no other way than just forcing yourself. That's the only way to get through it, or else I am going back to my room and I'm throwing on Naruto and just jerking off and watching it. So it's like
I love
like that is the only way to get out of it.
Yeah.
And I kind of just full sent that.
Got it.
Until today, I guess.
So by the way, the jerky off was separate from the Naruto, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, sometimes, yeah, but sometimes some of the characters like Tsunade,
okay,
I'm not gonna like it might kick off a session.
got a Sakura session.
Yeah. Ino was my crush back then.
Ino was great.
Yeah. No, she was bad for sure, especially in Shippuden. No, I wasn't. This wasn't the first. No, it was Shippuden. I want to,
Yeah.
Got
it. Are you open to talking about that? So the I don't have people usually come on and say there's like the anime gaming addiction, but the porn addiction. I've seen videos on this. I'm just like, how does that like how does one become diagnosed as like addicted to porn? Because like
just keep watching.
all guys in their teens, dude, they're like
Yeah.
they're all watching porn, right?
Right.
But it's like what counts as addiction?
Oh, you just do it every day, every single night.
Okay.
Yeah, it helps you fall asleep. You're bored. Ah, let me open.
I don't know if that's addiction. I feel like addiction is like people that are doing like 4 or 5 times a day.
Well, you get. I mean, when you're that young and you don't have hobbies, porn it becomes a hobby.
Okay. All right. That's
Watching
fair.
it becomes a hobby. Saving it, bookmarking it becomes a hobby.
Oh, you you actually bookmarked it. Okay,
Oh,
not gonna lie,
man.
not gonna lie. That happened back in the day too. Yeah, not gonna lie. I'm trying to make fun. I'm like, no, I did it too. Yeah, that's okay. So how did you overcome that?
Overcome. I would say I mean, you start to get older. You start to have better priorities in life. You start caring about things. That's
Yeah.
way more. You start getting bored less.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump around a little bit because I'm also more interested in you, Jimmy. The how you grew up, your upbringing, and everything. You mentioned immigrant. You grew up in New York. You said.
Yeah, grew up in New York.
Okay, so tell us about your immigrant upbringing because this is something I do with all the
With all the Asian people.
Yep.
Yeah. So I moved to New York when I was like 8, 9 years old from Boston. Not a lot of people know this about me, but I lived in Boston, Malden, for like 3 years, and that's where I learned English.
Yeah.
So by the time I got to New York, it was, was I still doing Chinese homework? I think I was. Yeah. So it would be schoolwork, and then I would come back home, and I would get these sheets, where I just write this like just lines of like Chinese characters.
It's the boxes, right?
The boxes. I would just spend 3 hours writing lines of Chinese. I don't even know what's the purpose of this. Like just to practice, to flex my handwriting.
Yeah.
You know? And for every like the 30 hours I put in, I get like a Yu-Gi-Oh booster pack or a deck of Yu-Gi-Oh cards. So I kept doing them.
Yeah.
I felt like a mouse.
That's funny.
Just on a hamster wheel with Chinese homework. And so I mean I'm glad though, you know, well, am I?
Dude, you're lucky you got the Yu-Gi-Oh. All I got was In-N-Out Burger.
Oh, you got in? Oh,
for going
right.
to Chinese school, yeah.
Wow.
Or else I get beat. So yeah.
Oh shit. Yeah. Well, at least you got fed.
Yeah. Well, you got the cards that you could trade.
But I don't know. It really helped me with Chinese. Like I think speaking Chinese like just helps me. I don't know if like just repeating characters helped me with my Chinese, but that's what I did. And I was, and I don't know. I feel like growing up too, I was I'm trying to think. What was I? What was all the fights about? Right. Okay. So I
This
was
is with your parents.
Yeah. This is with my parents. So I was I wasn't your stereotypical like Asian child growing up as well.
What do you
Like,
mean by
yes, to like the video games and the anime and all the nerdy shit, but the like in school I had straight C's and B's just throughout my entire life. High school, middle school, and yeah, so I was constantly met with like disappointment, and I think I talked about this briefly on like Eric's podcast, but I was like, they like my parents would blame a lot of their sorrow and grief on like me not doing well in school, and I had to cope then with video games. So I would get beat for playing video games. Right, I wouldn't get beat for bringing back the C minus, but I would get beat for playing video games. But I kept playing video games because they were disappointed at my. So it was just this constant toxic cycle of like, oh, just and I didn't. The thing is, I really didn't care about the subject, or maybe I was bad. Maybe I was not everybody is meant to, you know, excel well on a test, remember information about the Revolutionary War, right? So yeah, I think maybe the school system failed me.
Well, let me ask you this. What were you good at in like
Math.
Okay. No, not even that. Like, were you good at games? Were you good like what were you at, what did you excel at?
Editing.
Okay.
I was playing video games, and then I would record gameplay, and I would edit gameplay.
Yeah.
I was really good at finding the music. I was really good at selecting the shots.
Yeah.
And yeah,
there's a reason I asked you that. So this is for any immigrant parent out there, right? So not that I'm a parent, but I'm just like, I wish my parents would have noticed that like I was really good at like games, right? And like my whole like if I noticed my kid was really good at editing, it's like, dude, okay, let's make you world class at this. Like there are parents out there that support their kids to become the best gamer that they can be. And it's like, man, if only our parents would have noticed, our immigrant parents, which I love, by the way, like they did their best, right? But I think that's like the one missing component. I don't know if you agree or disagree with that.
Yeah, I think because I mean, yeah, their whole life that they're just taught that going to school is the only route to success, right? My dad, I mean, he used to walk miles to school. Barefoot. I don't know if it's barefoot, but that's what he would claim, that like he would just claw his way to school to get his education.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, now, given the privilege of like a school bus, why wouldn't you just care about learning? But really, that's like how I don't even remember half the books. I just spark notes everything.
Times change.
Times has changed.
Yeah.
There's and it's actually way better now if you have if you specialize in a hobby or something interesting as you're growing up, because that might be a specialized skill that the world needs, right? And you're genuinely like passionate about doing that, and as you get older, the world will need that skill as well. So it's like, the world doesn't need you to be an English teacher.
Yeah.
The world might need an editor.
I think it's just like you said earlier, there's no one right way or wrong way to do something. Like boxes don't really work. Like,
no.
We all kind of just are combination of different experiences.
Yeah. I actually think it's great that you found something at such a young age that you're really passionate about doing. Right. So it's like, if you find that, stick with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think 17-year-old Jimmy would say about 28-year-old Jimmy now?
17?
17-year-old.
17-year-old Jimmy.
Do you think 17-year-old Jimmy would have expected you to turn out like you did now?
Oh, man. It's a dream. 17-year-old Jimmy would honestly, he would probably put down the lotion and the porn now. he probably, I get to be that later. I need to chill with this.
Yeah.
So I'd probably, I want 17-year-old Jimmy to start earlier. Yeah.
Well, I mean, this leads well into, you talked about how there's this one Gary Vee video that changed your life. So what age did that happen? Like, when did you start getting into personal growth? Talk about that video too.
Yeah, I think this was around like 20, 21. Yeah, it was the video where he was just speaking to the audience about, if you're between the ages of 22 to 27, this is your window of opportunity to strike. You have all the pressures of, this is before you have all the responsibilities that come with life, like families, babies, and stuff like that. So, you get to live in a garage or a basement with like 4 of your roommates. So it just spoke to me, like, at how much freedom I actually have in this short period. And that's why, like, it translates back to like my dating theory. Like, this is a time for you to like have genuine freedom to like explore your options, rather than like, oh wow, like I found a girl that I really like, I'm gonna lock this down for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Like, there might be a girl that you have way more chemistry with and you're way more compatible with, and it's just because this person makes you feel good, that means you're gonna live the rest of, how many people get divorced like isn't the divorce rate like 50 something per?
It's higher than 50.
Right, and what's the breakup rate? It's like even everybody breaks, so it's like, oh, just get it. It's not. This isn't gonna be your whole life. Anyways, I'm digressing a little bit.
Yeah, you're fine.
What age was I?
Yeah. So what age did you start getting into personal growth?
Yeah, around like 19, 20 was a sweet spot because I remember I was taking summer classes at Columbia, and like on the train ride from my house to Columbia, it was like an hour train ride. I would just have books. I would just be on the subway reading books. And I think that was also the summer where I cut out all of my high school friends.
Interesting.
Back in New York, and I was just in this weird transition period where I didn't have any close friends, and I was like starting to hang out with like my college friends, but I wasn't super close with them. They were in Connecticut, and I was in New York, and then I would cut out all of my New York friends, so I was just reading, going to class, reading, and a lot of the books spoke to how I was really feeling inside. And I think around that time, I was also thinking about you because I watched a lot of YouTube growing up, but it never occurred to me like like somewhere buried in like my head and my heart, I'd like to become a YouTuber. Buried, right? Because it was just so impossible. But like those books kind of dug out the dirt that I put myself in.
Yeah.
So yeah, I some good books around that time was like How to Win Friends and Influence People. It helped me start to become more, I guess, comfortable with talking to strangers, knowing how to foster a good relationship. What are some what was the one by Napoleon Hill?
Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah. That was a good one.
Yeah. You know what's interesting? So the stack that you went through is the same stack I went through. You were probably like 21, 22, 23, something like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the Gary videos also really spoke to me. I forgot who, Tony Robbins.
Yeah.
Tony Robbins videos also really spoke to me.
You're on a personal growth tear.
Oh yeah. And I think the best part about it is I had literally no distractions back then. And it just, I don't know what it was. Just like it's just every day. Like I got addicted to like reading all those things.
That's what it is. It's channeling the porn addiction, the anime, the gaming addiction into something positive, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I was jerking off as much during that. I don't think, there was still some fire shows that came out 2015.
So some jerking here and there.
Jerking here and there, and some binging here and there.
Yeah.
Tokyo Ghoul came out that summer. Yeah, but there wasn't like I think I finished a lot of the anime like leading up to that, like Naruto, Dragon Ball Z. Like I finished, so like most of the long-winded series I've already finished. So I mean, coincidentally, I have more time on my hands. Yeah.
Okay, so I actually want to come back to this. Is interesting because I still talk to my elementary school, my high school friends.
Yeah.
Which I'll get to in a second.
Sure.
But you talked about cutting off your high school friends.
Yeah.
Why?
Growing up in New York, you're surrounded with a lot of negativity, actually. Like New York City, it's kind of a cutthroat city. Even in high school, people roast each other all the time, shit on each other. If you really can't take it, then it kind of consumes you. So I think my high school friends also, they were not making the same like leaps in bettering themselves. They were still going to the same rec center, the same YMCA, talking about the same things. They were just, I can't talk to her. I'm gonna get a job this summer. I'm trying to apply for internship. It was just the same old conversations.
Yeah.
Whereas like I'm nose deep in like Tony Robbins books. I'm like, I have a future for myself. I have dreams and aspirations.
Yeah.
What are you talking? no, I don't want to go to the rec center anymore, you know? So I think it was like a combination of like just wanting different things and um just being surrounded with like negativity. I just really wanted to like cut all that out.
Have any of them tried to reach back out to you and
Yeah,
recently?
recently,
Yeah.
like actually just this past Thanksgiving, yeah, like the just kind of just hit each other up on DMs and reconnected. But it was just more so reminiscing on like old times.
I think it's
Yeah.
important to understand that like the Jim Rohn quote is like you're the average of the five you hang out with most, right? Like that is really true.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think I remembered that quote too from back then, and I was
Yeah.
like, I was
He
adding
coached
up
Tony
my average.
Robbins.
Yeah, I was doing
Yeah.
my average. I was like, oh no, this isn't looking good for me.
Yeah.
I need
Yeah.
a better average.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is that why you moved to LA to upgrade the average?
No, well, no, I was in New York for up until 2020. So
Yeah.
for the first like 4 or 5 years of like my YouTube career, I was still in New York. But I think I was starting to surround myself with just more like-minded people and more people in my industry.
Yeah.
Around that time. Yeah.
Got it. And do you think moving to LA has been a net positive for you? Because this is away from home now, right?
Yeah. I would say. Well, I mean, for one, the rent is a little cheaper.
Yeah.
And two, I could go outside in the winter in New
Yeah.
York. Oh my God! Come January, it's depressing.
Yeah.
It's Christmas is cute. They got the lights, but January, February, March, it's depressing.
Yeah.
And yeah, and also I get to drive to places. So
Mhm.
like lifestyle, it's a little bit. I like the lifestyle a little bit better in LA.
Got it.
There's more creators out here. There's more creator friends. So there's more, I guess, like-minded individuals.
Who would you say is in your circle now, right? So we mentioned Sneeko earlier, right? He's coming up, it seems, on YouTube. Like, who do you hang out with now?
These days, probably, I don't know if you know this podcast called Under the Influence. Yeah, them, and what about Suburb Talks? Have you heard of that? No. They're like kind
I
of
know
my
older
core-
guys in the podcast space.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're my core group. Who do you know?
Who do I know? I mean, we know Alan, right?
Right.
Well, I hang out with like a lot of. I try to mix it, right? There's like podcasters, there's YouTubers, but I hang out a lot with like business people.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm very fascinated to like just be in those rooms and like just be in those
Learn.
conversations. I think there's a lot people could learn from like different industries.
Totally.
And I
Yeah.
think when you start cross-pollinating like ideas
Yeah.
is when you could really like bring something new to your industry. So, yeah, I'd love to be in, those conversations.
Well, hey, we'll arrange that.
Yeah.
Who do you follow now? Like, what are you reading? More on the personal growth side. Because here's the thing: once you become addicted to that, at least for me, it doesn't stop. Like after I
Right.
started like downloading, I would download these $2,000 courses because I couldn't afford them off these like Wares websites, right? And burn them to a CD. Burn them to a CD back
Yeah.
then. And I'm just like, dude, this is great. So like, what are you listening to now? do you
These
follow?
days, who is do you know Iman Ghatzi?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
fascinating how quickly he's grown.
Yeah. I think he gives a lot of good, not just business advice, but also just like life advice. From like, I guess from like a younger perspective, but I mean, he kind of moves like an older man.
Yeah.
Who else? Alex Hormozy.
Yeah.
Great. A lot of like very practical business advice. Yeah. I don't know. Sometimes just like random TikTokers. Or just random TikTok, not TikTokers, but like just random TikToks.
Yeah.
That would just like
Oh, because your TikTok's now just all personal growth stuff.
no,
huh?
it's like both. It's like mixed with like comedy, dating,
Yeah.
personal growth.
Yeah.
It's a mix of, like my friend's podcasts.
Yeah.
Mix of different
it.
stuff. Yeah.
Okay. I have a couple more threads to pull on here. So
Yeah.
let's talk about the value of What'd you play? You played Modern Warfare growing up. What else?
Modern
you play?
Warfare 2.
Okay.
Modern
yeah.
Warfare 2 was my thing. Yeah.
Yeah. What else you play?
Combat Arms.
Okay.
I don't know if a lot of first person shooters.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I'm trying to think like Maple Story a little
Oh yeah,
bit.
yeah.
I kind of stopped around like 2013.
Yeah.
GTA.
Okay.
Oh man, GTA 6 is coming out.
Okay.
That's about to go crazy.
So here's the question for you.
Uh-huh.
It's how has gaming made you more successful as an entrepreneur?
I guess this is pretty specific to me, but like indirectly, it made me understand addiction. It made me like become self-aware at like what addiction can do to you.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever like since breaking out of my video game addiction. I don't think I've became. I guess I used that like energy to like harness into like building a business and like becoming obsessed with YouTube.
Yeah.
Right. So it's kind of understanding addiction. It made me understand addiction.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. And how about same thing for anime? What are your favorite animes? I think you got Naruto in there.
Naruto is probably top 3. Then we got Code Geass.
Interesting.
Death Note.
Yeah.
No
Jujutsu Kaisen.
Jujutsu. Oh, I mean, it's this season is crazy. I don't know if you saw.
I'm on it. Yeah.
Oh man,
yeah.
this season is crazy.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, no, the fight. I don't know. I like anime that has a little bit more like psychological, thrilling aspect to it, rather than just straight hands, just straight like fighting,
killing.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, Chainsaw Man is also. I want to see a lot of these animes just get animated. You know, like right now they're in their like manga season. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And how do you think same thing with anime, like the addiction, you learn how to channel your addiction, or is it something else that's helped you?
Well, with anime, there's actually it's a lot more. Anime, there's so many life lessons you could pull from it, right? Like with Naruto, just the self-belief, you know, with One Piece is about harnessing friendships, character building, world building. So a lot of like my thought process actually stems from things I gather from anime.
Yeah.
You know, One Piece, like it it follows like a core group of people that just comes from all different walks of life, but they like, you know, through this shared sense of like vision, they you get to see them really bond, right? So it's the same way I'm starting to look at videos. Like I'm having friends be in videos, and we get to travel the world together. You know, it's just I could kind of world build off of the same way that One Piece.
Yeah, you're building your own One Piece.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jimmy Piece. Let's cover the dating stuff first, and I
Okay.
want to jump over to YouTube. Would you call yourself like a dating YouTuber, or like how would you describe the niche that you're in right now?
It's weird. The niche I'm in right now is traveling mixed with dating.
Okay.
And I feel like, I mean, I've been on YouTube for like 7 years. So
Yeah.
like over the course of time, I've had different arcs and different chapters.
Yeah.
So like I started off with street interviews and just taking my own problems to the street. And then it's kind of evolved into like some, you know, some anime stuff. But right now it's, traveling.
Got it.
And dating.
What are you enjoying? Like, I remember when I first started seeing your stuff, like a couple years ago, you would go to like raves and ask dating questions to people, right?
Yeah.
And like I found those to be fascinating. And those, I was just talking to Noah about this. Those are like challenge videos, right? Where you like you're challenging yourself to go put yourself out there.
Sometimes challenging other people.
Yeah.
You know, telling other guys to go approach a girl, right?
Yeah.
Because at a certain point, like I've had enough, right? Maybe, you know, we'll get one of these guys up.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
to
You guys like that? Yeah. They're down. So okay, I mean, which ones did you enjoy all the arcs, or like which one did you enjoy the most?
Um, I'm enjoying this current arc right now just because there's something so novel about traveling.
Yeah.
So like I kind of get to knock two birds with one stone with getting to travel and also documenting my
Yeah.
time traveling. So yeah, I really like. I mean, it's expensive,
Yeah.
but I like what I'm.
I was just watching some of your videos, and it's really interesting. So you went on a date with a flight attendant. You slept at the airport, and then you
Yeah,
went on a second date and then you flew to Toronto to visit her,
I did.
and then you recorded a date. You guys did like a mukbang as well. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
the content itself, the format. I don't think I've seen anybody do that, right? I guess the
Because it's
question.
so intimate, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people wouldn't take the camera,
Yeah.
and but like I kind of look at this like How I Met Your Mother or like Friends, stuff like this back in the day when people would watch, sitcoms and they get an inside look at people's like, relationship lives, dating lives. But like nowadays, like who's really making content like that out here, so
Nobody really that I can think of, right?
mhm.
So what is your creative process? Because I'm sure you're just not half-assing it, right?
No, yeah, I mean, like part of the creative process and like brainstorming is like watching or kind of jogging up my memory from like back then when I watched How I Met Your Mother, or stuff of the past, because like a lot of times people get too caught up in like YouTube trends and like, oh, what everybody else is doing. But I think really where you could spark some great ideas is like taking ideas from way back, right? Like rom-coms, I remember what was the movie? I think it was like Before Sunrise was
Sounds like
this
a
movie
vampire movie.
where it like basically the premise of the movie was that it was a guy and a girl meets in a foreign city, and then they spent like the entire day together all the way up until like sunrise. So like 7 a.m. So I kind of I saw that movie on a plane, and I was like, oh, what if I did that at an airport, right? Or like, where can I do that with,
Yeah.
with somebody? So it really, I don't know, the ideas could come up from a lot of old content,
Yeah.
old movies, old TV shows, stuff like that.
And now, I mean, now with your arc, I feel like there's character building with you, and people are becoming more invested in you. Do you feel that that's a thing or not really?
Yeah, no, definitely. People are very like I guess invested in my love life. But even beyond me, I'm starting to incorporate like other people and other characters in my videos, and I think that too. Like my cameraman, right, Gabe. He's I once I started throwing him in the videos, I think that's when I saw like even like bigger engagement, because now there's
Mm.
like multiple
More
people
characters,
to
yeah.
keep up with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Did you intentionally design it that way where it's like, hey, this is gonna help character development, or it's like now it's become you just notice it as like a
Mm, I think naturally, like it wasn't super intentional. It was just like, oh, Gabe, talk to this girl,
yeah.
and then th- the fans were kind of seeing him struggling at first, and then like over time, people are invested in like his glow up,
Yeah.
right? And then, um, yeah, so it wasn't like super. It was just like for shits and giggles at
Got it.
first.
I
Yeah.
think the lesson here is basically even with business too, you just don't
Hmm.
know where it's gonna end up, and it's just like you just keep going, and these things just start to happen. It's like a
Right.
residual effect, right?
Right.
And who knows what other characters you're gonna add, but now it's like, no, this character shit's actually working.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. Okay, let's go back to this gal, Chloe. So you take Chloe. Like I didn't watch this video yet. I've seen it. I watched the second one where you went to Toronto.
Mhm.
Wait, how does this story work out? And then I'm gonna ask a bunch of questions about dating. So
Sure,
go for
sure.
it. Like tell us the story.
With Chloe, she I met her at on a e-date. This was like one of my homegirls. She set up you're familiar with a e-date, right? No? Okay.
You guys are right? Yeah? No?
No. So
No.
basically it's set up on Discord, where it's
Oh,
almost like they have it's almost like a speed date but like online,
yeah.
just on Discord, and you see the other person, because it's like, think of a Zoom meeting, but except it's just a guy and a girl
Nice.
talking to each other, meeting each other.
Okay,
for
but the
first
fact
time.
that they don't know about it, is this like an Asian thing? Like,
No. This is just a internet thing.
Because like I can imagine like, okay, if I had this back in the day when I played a shitload of games, I
Yeah.
would have done this for sure. And it's like it's just a
Right,
natural
but I mean, the
progression.
webcam back then was just pixelated.
Oh, yeah.
Right
You couldn't
nowadays,
see.
you got some good,
Yeah.
quality. Yeah, the
Yeah.
webcams.
Yeah.
So it worked out, and then, but it was like an e-date competition. So it was me among like 3, 4, 5 other guys
Yeah.
that like it was one. It was almost a bachelorette, but it's like just over the screen.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, so she had to keep picking like who she'd eliminate.
Right. And then each guy had their own little segment with her, and then at the end
Yeah.
she chose me. So naturally, like our chemistry, I think was the best. So found out that she was a flight attendant from that. So I was like, okay, let me know the next time you're in LA.
Yeah.
And fast forward like a month, 2 months later, she's like, oh, I'm flying in. And then I pitched her the idea. Let's spend a day at the airport.
Yeah. Okay. Well, okay. So you spent a day at the airport,
Mhm.
and how long is it? Like, how long were you in the airport for?
I think we got in at like 5 p.m.
Yeah.
5 p.m. And we were there until like 8 a.m.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you pitched her idea. Hey, we're gonna do a date at the airport, and I'm gonna film this on YouTube.
Yeah.
And
And
she's like, "I'm
then
down."
she was down. I mean, she was down. I mean, she already did Twitch, so she was comfortable with being on
Got
camera already. So
Okay. And how about, so let's fast forward to the second one. You go to Toronto. Did you actually not tell her, or did you tell her ahead of time?
no, swear to, I didn't tell her.
Got it.
Yeah. But I had a feeling that I told her beforehand that like,
Yeah.
oh, we were gonna shoot a mukbang together over FaceTime.
Yeah.
So like she already came. I guess she was ready to film something.
Got it.
So she like got dolled up, and yeah.
Okay. So because you do like, I think the content you do is great, and it's also unconventional. What are your unconventional takes on dating?
Unconventional takes.
I see you hang out with Sneeko. I like
Oh,
that guy.
man.
So there's good
Ah.
stuff. There's gotta be good stuff.
Sneeko, right. I would say this isn't really unconventional, but I would say a lot of guys settle down way too quickly, and I see my friends back home, already just engaged. I mean, nothing wrong with being gay, but how do you know this is the best thing for you?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So my thing is to be able to give yourself time in your 20s to figure out your life first before you start dating. I don't this isn't really unconventional. This is just I don't think you should just date seriously for the majority of your 20s. I just don't think people like people. I think you could just date for fun. You should date for fun in your 20s. I don't think you should date for like people in their 20s. Oh, I'm dating for marriage. I'm like, how? No. People say, and then I'm like, I ask them, oh, like, how come why are you still single then? You had how many boyfriends did you have? How many relationships did you have? Oh, 3, 4. Okay, cool. And you're still dating for marriage? No. Get your life settled first. Like, you have to be ready in your own life before you are ready to be committed to someone.
So what do you tell them, like, hey, I'm just dating for fun right now, like, or do you just keep it open and just like not put a label on it?
I wouldn't put a label on it. I think you could if it progresses well, then we could talk about labels. But until then, people are so rushed to put a label on. Oh, let's be boyfriend girlfriend. Let's be exclusive. How do you know?
Yeah.
How do you there's so many qualities that might throw you off along the way just because it feels good right now. Like, I'm gonna commit to you. Like, no. right? So I think people are just too eager at love.
Interesting. I wanna come back to this one, but I mean, with the YouTube stuff, like it seems like there's a lot of videos recently where you're traveling, you're going on these dates, and then it seems like the girls are kind of trying to like angle it towards, hey, like what are we, right? Is that happening, or it feels that way?
Yes, but I mean, to be quite honest, I want to travel the world. I want to before I settle down, right? It's like I said, people settle down way too quickly, and then I just don't want to live with regrets.
Right.
I don't want to look back. Oh, I could have done this when there's so much freedom that comes with like being single.
Yeah.
And then you have like once you're in a committed relationship, like you're with this person. Hopefully, you're with this person forever. You have the rest of your life to be cuffed. Why aren't you taking advantage of right now to like live your life? You know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's kind of my.
Got it. We'll come back to that in a second, but I want to talk about the what's like the business of Jimmy right now. Like, what is the business? How are you monetizing? And then we'll go from there.
The business of Jimmy. So I would say, maybe 25% of my income is from like AdSense, and I would say like these are estimates, but like another 25% could be from merch or the clothing line, and then another percentage is my fourth wall, like the exclusive content platform.
Okay. Yeah.
Another percentage is brand deals. Another percentage is my real estate investment. Another percentage is my just random things like TikTok or TikTok brand deals, just random stuff.
Got it. What's
Yeah.
like the approximate monthly reach? Like any numbers you can share on the business reach or revenue, anything?
Um, it ranges. Like my best month was like 80K. Like a lower month would probably be 30.
Okay.
30.
And you're getting like millions of views a month, right? Across your stuff.
Yeah, on YouTube, TikTok, everything. Yeah.
Got it. Like is that 5 to 7 million, something like that?
On YouTube, depending on if I'm posting shorts or not. But for just regular videos, maybe like 3 to 5 million. If I'm posting shorts, that number could go up to like 30 million.
Got it.
Yeah.
I think this is interesting, and the reason I'm asking, and thank you for being so transparent too, because like sometimes our people aren't so transparent.
Right.
But I think this is good for people watching. Like, what's the vision here? Because you're really young right now. You're doing, let's call it 500 grand to $1 million a year. What's the ultimate vision with the business? What would you like to have happen?
I would like to be able to branch out into a business, like hopefully the clothing line, the relaunch of the clothing line, can scale to something that's sellable in the future. I'm kind of planning for another product, maybe a condom.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's
wow, Jimmy.
What's up?
Your name's Jimmy.
The Jimmies. And it's kind of like the idea that Mr. Beast was talking about. There isn't much innovation in like certain sectors.
Yeah.
And in like the condom industry, like there hasn't been any innovation for X amount of years. Like Trojan has like taken over that for God knows how long. So I feel like a new cool online brand could be a vibe.
Got it. No, I like that. And so like is your move then it's because I think what I've seen with YouTube creators, I'm not saying this about you, but YouTube creators, it's like they get very used to the sponsorship deals and the ads.
Right.
And that's usually
they get very comfortable
with that. And yes, complacency is the word, right? It's like they just, but then it's like dude, there's so much money being left on the table.
Yes.
And then you're actually thinking about doing a business, and then where you can control the product, you can have more control of the margins.
Yes.
I guess what would be your message to these other YouTubers? Because they're great at getting audience,
Right.
but the business side is lacking, and you're already starting to think about it. So.
Yeah, I'm starting to think about it, but I mean, just tackling business and a product is its own huge learning curve, right? And especially for YouTuber, even on my size, I would say like it's like I even like I still need to step away from certain things to be able to like do the learning curve myself. You know, I don't have a full-fledged team around me to be able to like scale a business. Maybe for the condom thing, but
Yeah.
yeah, and it's just like for a lot of creators, it's not necessarily bad actually that they want to just do the AdSense and the brand deals, right? But if they want to keep it to a kind of a lifestyle business,
Which is fine. It's not bad. Yeah,
right,
you're right.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I think it's like only for those people out there that wants more from themselves out of life should pursue a business. But a lot of times that's fine if a lot of creators don't necessarily aren't necessarily thinking about that because maybe it just doesn't fit their lifestyle, right? Because as I'm getting older too, I'm thinking about like work-life balance as well, right? It's like what fulfills me isn't just to grow, to get more money, to make more money, but like you have to really be self-aware and ask yourself important questions like, oh, do I want to start another business? Although, you know, if you find like a golden nugget of a product and that meshes really well with your niche, sure, like it could take off. It could be very successful if done correctly, but a lot of times it might not necessarily suit your lifestyle or suit who you are as a person. So asking yourself, do I want to start a business? Do I want more money? What amount of money am I comfortable with? And yeah, just being honest with yourself, because sometimes you could want more and then upon doing more, you might feel more burnt out and feel stressed out and you might not like it.
Becomes more of a burden.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly. More than, and then sometimes, you know, maybe you just want to stick to your videos and do the brand deals and
Yep.
and yeah, but I would say I would advise creators though that wants longevity in this field to think about innovation rather than think about like products. It like innovating your videos, right? How do I take my videos from TikTok into YouTube that's digestible for YouTube? You know, like like this, maybe this is my third, fourth year on YouTube. How do I make these videos relevant to the trends today? To, you know, the titles, the thumbnails, the whatever the algorithm wants. How do I make it applicable to like the 2024 version, right? So like thinking about those things, I think is important for any creator.
Got it.
More so than the business.
How much time do you think you're spending on creating versus the business right now?
I think I'm still spending most of my time on creating because that's what makes the engine run. The business, I will say, I'll take a day or two out of the week to kind of like strategize, but like mainly like I'm still thinking about making videos.
So like 80% of the time,
Yeah,
creating, 20%. Yeah, interesting. And your team right now, you mentioned it might be a small team. So how big's the team right now? How much do you think you're spending per month on the team? This is a question I always ask creators. Yeah.
So the team right now, I have a full-time, I would say altogether probably around like 10K a month.
Okay.
On the editing, the shooting, everything.
Got it.
Yeah. And the editors are more so like freelancers.
Got it. And your videographer is probably a big chunk of that.
The big chunk, yeah.
Got it. I'm assuming he's like the guy that's like full time with you.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. And that said, I mean, it seems like you guys have a really good relationship. What's his name again?
Gabe.
Gabe. Okay. Does he? I mean, how often do you see him?
Oh, he's my roommate.
Oh,
every day.
there you go.
I'll wake up next to him.
So you're like, hey,
Not next
like
to him, but-
I'm gonna hire you. I totally missed that. Okay, so Gabe, you wake up next to him. So you say, hey, I'm gonna hire you, but you're gonna sleep at my place too. Was that the deal?
I mean, it was so, um, I guess not bootleg, bootstrap. Is that
Yeah,
the word?
bootstrap is like when you haven't raised any money, you built it from the ground up
Right,
type of
right.
thing.
So I guess it was like a bootstrap relationship
Yeah.
where he in the beginning when I wasn't making like as much money. Yeah, I was just
Yeah.
kind of like I was still editing the videos myself.
Yeah.
He when I came out to LA in like 2020
Yeah.
to I guess innovate the content to like figure out what videos to make because for
Yeah.
the longest time I was shooting the man on the street stuff.
Yeah.
And when the world shut down, what the fuck do I do?
Yeah.
You know, so came to LA to make more videos with other content creators,
Mm-hmm.
and then that's when Gabe kind of took a leap himself.
Yeah.
And was like, "Yo, you need anybody to help shoot for you in LA?"
He saw you coming up. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And at the time, I was kind of like freelancing him like for specific videos. But
Yeah.
when he flew out himself and was like, "Yeah, man, like I'm here to like he bought his own
Yeah.
ticket.
Wow.
He flew himself out
Yep.
and was like, I'll help film for you." And just that's level of like commitment made me feel like, oh, this could be my guy.
Yeah.
Beyond that though, I think we just have like a shared sense of humor
Okay.
and we just click.
How do you think Gabe, because he's known you pretty well, he knows you pretty well. How do you think Gabe would describe Jimmy as a person?
Um, Messy, driven, I guess. And we talked about this where it's like what made our relationship last for so long, right? Like what were the things that made us complement each other so well? And I think for him it was his patience, and for me it was like my grit and my perseverance, and like always trying to figure out like when things hit the fan, or when like when the videos are stagnant, like I'm trying to figure something out, right? And even when we like are out filming and we're like hit with, you know, certain obstacles, like I'm trying to figure it out, and he's also like maybe he has the patience and he has like the calm demeanor to like calm me down. So it's like I guess those traits we complement each other very well.
Got it. Yeah. Sounds like a good team.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of those obstacles that you run into? I'm just curious. Like, what's some crazy stuff you've seen when you're out shooting?
I was in Korea, just trying to make some videos, just trying to talk to just get one girl to be down for a video.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I must have been rejected 100 times.
In a row.
Well, I mean, I lost count, but yeah, it was just, it was like sometimes they wouldn't even look at me. It was just, I mean, it's the culture,
Yeah.
right? Naturally. So that was demoralizing. What else? There's some videos where I have Joker moments where like leading up to it's like a big task that I'm about to embark on, and I'm like on the drive there I'm like like I start like manically like
Yeah.
laughing like I don't know if I can do this.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, I think another one was like sneaking into like this crashing this David Dobrik party like
Oh.
way back when. Yeah, I'm trying to think.
Did you
what
film it too
else.
when you got inside?
Yeah. I filmed it too. It was like heavy security outside. But like you see YouTubers
Yeah.
do that. So it's like sneaking into mansions,
Yeah.
sneaking into like football stadiums and stuff like that. Like I
Yeah.
think I've done some videos like along those lines. So
Got it.
it's-
Okay. You know what's interesting to me? You mentioned, following Gary Vee stuff. It's helped you a
Yeah.
lot. And I've noticed, I mean, YouTube obviously has changed a lot. It used to be about your number of subscribers. Now it's just like how good are your videos.
Yeah.
I talked with another creator about this. And he was sitting there in your seat a couple weeks ago. It's just basically when you look at Gary Vee's channel, I still love the guy, but his videos don't do well anymore, right? And you mentioned a key thing that you did. Like it's like you gotta iterate, right?
Yeah.
So the question for you is like how how do you think about iterating? Because we kind of talked about this a little bit where like you changed the arc, right? But I think what are practical ways for people to think about how to not become stagnant, because that's what happens a lot with content.
There's so many ways to innovate, and it's not just from like an ideas perspective, right? It's like it's not just like ideas is key, but another way is just diversify your platforms, right? I think last year I started really investing in my TikTok, and I have so many people coming up to me like, "Oh, I've seen you from TikTok." So when you think about innovation in that perspective, like each platform, you get a different shot at blowing up, right? Maybe Gary's videos isn't doing quite well on YouTube. Maybe his Instagram is. Maybe his
TikTok, LinkedIn.
TikTok is. Yeah, IG Reels. You know, I see so many creators where yeah, maybe they're not as relevant on YouTube anymore, but hey, their Instagram Reels is at like, you know, they have millions of followers on Reels. Or maybe Facebook. You know, I came up on a time where Facebook was popping. You know, I have like I don't know, like maybe 650, 700K followers on Facebook.
Wow. Yeah.
And yeah, like I mean, for the first year, 2 years of my content journey, like I was mostly making money from Facebook. So it's like, who knows? Maybe there's a platform next year that like that people could hop onto and be one of the first people to hop on the platform and, you know, start making original content there. So it's really yeah, thinking about the different platforms, and then to, I guess, the coming up with ideas, coming up with good ideas, and having I have a team now that comes up with ideas for me.
Interesting. How many people are helping you come up with ideas?
Well, we got Gabe, we got me, myself. We have like a content strategy person that just shoots a bunch of ideas at me.
Yeah.
And I kind of give him direction on what kind of ideas I'm looking for, right? For example, like at first he was looking at the YouTube homepage and like videos in my niche, but I feel like I'm kind of chasing other people's glory and other people's trends. But like I told him specifically to look for, you know, ideas from like way back when, like the past. I think that's when you could really extract some great ideas.
What would be like an example of that?
I don't want to give away
Just one.
I mean, like earlier the example I had was like Before Sunrise, a movie, right? That was something that you see this in music all the time. You see a lot of like artists sample old beats, right? And it just does amazing now. Like Jack Harlow recently came out with a song called "Lovin' Something." What's the
Yeah. Don't know.
Yeah. I have it on my Spotify, but it was like he sampled Drake, like the motto.
Yeah. So he repurposed it for like his own.
Basically, yeah. And it's like, right. This is like the beat was from the motto from Drake. You know what I'm saying?
Got it.
So it's
That
like
makes sense.
So it's like I look at content kind of the same way. It's like you could sample old stuff, you know?
I like that. It's, you know, nothing's really that original at the end of the day. We're all just building on each other.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So I guess the business, I mean, you're thinking about this clothing, this brand, right? Are you thinking about, it sounds like you're trying to learn more about business right now, but do you think there's an angle where you just maybe just partner with an operator or like a business that's already doing it and they'll give you equity? Like, how are you thinking about that?
So I could, but I would be giving up more equity of my shares.
Yeah.
And
Trade-offs.
You're right. With the clothing line, I am looking for an investor currently. I actually realized like how important an investor could be to like really scaling the business fast.
Yeah.
And a lot of times people don't really think about this. People are just like, I'll just do it myself. But it's actually, it's really important.
Would you consider crowdfunding it with given your audience size?
If I make a solid pitch at an investor, I get the money like this. And I feel like nowadays there's so many investors that's looking to invest because the creator economy is like this new thing that's booming.
They want to bet on the
fast.
creator.
Right.
Yeah.
So I just have to give them a great reason to bet on me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of people would love, like, I would love to invest into Jimmy, the creator, and whatever you build, right? Just because, like, there's so much leverage in the attention piece, which you know how to get. Do you, by the way, I mean, right before we were just talking about how, like, it's really important to build an audience, but it's also, like, how do you retain that audience? So, like, how do you think, do you have an email list right now? How do you think about email?
Man, emails. No, I don't. I mean, for the clothing line, I have an email list, but not for the channel.
The
no.
Jimmy, the Jimmy channel.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. We can talk about that.
Yeah, we could.
later,
Yeah, emails. That always felt super old school to me, so I haven't really tapped into that now.
Emails where you can just tap the register and it's like the ATM for you, assuming you do it the right way. I don't. So we were just talking about with Noah just right out before. It was just like most creators don't think about email. To your point, yeah, because it's like, do people do email? But it's like,
Right.
it is the ROI per email sent is like $39 to $40 per email sent. So it gets pretty significant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, so some of your videos, I was looking at the most popular ones. So we kind of talked about how you've evolved, but
Right.
can you talk about this one? I lasted 14 minutes with the hottest adult film star, 2.3 million views.
Yep.
I'm
that
just
was
curious.
some good old clickbait.
What happened there?
Well, you notice the video is 14 minutes.
Yeah?
Lasted 14 minutes in an interview. so good old clickbait.
But you still got the views.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just an interview.
Okay, all right. I guess that works. I was just looking at it. I was like, did you really
fully monetized, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
You don't need to, like, you don't need to put something so it's just some clever titling.
okay.
Yeah.
I like that. Your content stack right now, like, there's a lot of YouTubers that use like different, like, I think one guy uses like thumbnailtest.com, tests like 100 thumbnails, right? Like, what are some like quirky things that you might do with YouTube? What's in your stack, like your tech stack?
I don't have it. Oh no, like
Nothing fancy.
No, I don't even have the IQ thing. The little
VidIQ.
Yeah, I don't have it. Yeah, it's just good old YouTube analytics, and for thumbnails, sometimes I just take. I mean, this is bad, but sometimes I just take a screen capture of the video.
Wow, and it just works.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because sometimes it's like during the video, maybe something's happening. Like a really golden moment is happening on the spot. You sometimes forget to take a thumbnail, but and that's probably gonna be the hook for my video.
Yeah.
So I would just take a screenshot of that.
Dude, I think going back to Gabe for a second, that is like a unfair advantage, because if you have a guy that's living with you, you guys are literally just talking about this stuff all day long, and you compound a lot faster. It's not like you guys are waiting to see each other like every week or so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a good symbiotic like relationship too, because this isn't his full-time thing. Like he also has like a production business.
Yeah.
On this, so it's like, so yeah, we're not talking about it all the time, but
Yeah.
when we do have
Yeah.
time to link up.
Yeah. So I'm curious. I mean, look, it's still very early in your career right now. Like, what is the ultimate goal for you?
A family, kids. No,
Those are good.
yeah. Ultimate. I mean, that's really what. Honestly, it's just fulfillment, personal fulfillment, career fulfillment.
Do you feel like you have that already?
I think to a certain degree. I think it's just continue like just living a fulfilling life, being able to give back to the people that I care about, making enough to give back to the people that I care about, and buy some houses, create some generational wealth, and live a long, happy life.
What does generational wealth look like to you?
Um, I guess a lot of different properties for one. Maybe giving my kid. No, I wouldn't give them inheritance. They gotta work for that money themselves.
So you're gonna give it away?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
No. I don't know what I'm gonna do with my. But
Okay.
I think beyond beyond the money aspect, wealth comes in like multiple shapes and forms, right? So it's like being able to just learn more about life. I like the idea of traveling too, because I get to make relationships in like different parts of the world, right? And say in the future, I have business in like Taiwan or like or China or wherever, I get to, bring my family or people that I'm close with to these different parts of the world. And I think having connections that expands beyond my immediate circle, I think is so satisfying, so fulfilling for me.
Yeah, I feel like the One Piece thing really aligns with this.
Yeah.
The quest.
Yeah.
Do your parents know what you do?
Yeah. My mom, like, she keeps up with all the videos.
Oh wow.
Yeah, every time there's a new girl, she's like, "Oh, you
yo,
taking this
Isla."
one seriously?" Maybe, mom. We'll see.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Does your dad watch too?
I don't think my dad. Yeah, here and there.
Yeah.
He gets a little bit more political. Oh no, don't do the video that you did with the North Korean girl again. That's bad. He a little bit more political.
He just wants you to be safe, man.
Yeah.
Do you think now they're proud of you?
I would say so. Yeah, they were. I would say the moments that I think they would be proud of are like super stereotypical, right? Like it's when their friends brag to them about like, "Oh wow, like my sons are a fan of your son," right? And then when they see how much money I'm making, like, and in comparison to their friends,
Yep, always.
it's like, okay, that's when they're proud,
Yeah.
right? It's not,
Yeah.
So it's.
They're not bugging you to have kids or anything yet. So just
No,
wait till-
my
wait
mom
till
is
that.
a little bit.
Yeah.
She's bugging me to find somebody,
Yep.
but at the same time, she also gets it. Like she wants me to live my life.
That's the final Infinity Stone. First, they want you to make money first. Then
Right.
they want to make sure that you have a kid and everything, so they can brag about the kids too.
Right.
Yeah.
So they could raise the kid. Mom, you're not raising my kid.
Do they visit you often? Like, what's the deal? Do you see them?
Now I think they will more often because my little brother got into UCLA.
Oh, nice.
So yeah,
It's right over here.
Yeah. I'm gonna go see him after this. So I think they want to actually eventually move out here because if I'm staying out here,
Yeah.
and I don't know if my little brother,
Yeah.
he might stay out here. I mean, he applied to all the UC schools because I told him to.
Yeah.
I was like, come out here with me.
Yeah.
We get to hang out more. I'm very close with my little
Yeah.
brother.
That's cool.
So yeah, I don't know. My parents might move out.
Ship
here
your parents to Arcadia or
too.
something.
But yeah, no, they would love it actually.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That's where I grew up. So.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. They would love it out there.
Well, Jimmy, this has been good. What's the best way for people to learn more about you online?
Just Jimmy Zhang on YouTube. I've done some podcasts like this one. Eric
Way?
Yeah, Eric Way. These podcasts are a little different than my usual type of stuff. So it's a little bit more personal.
Yeah, no, this is good. I appreciate you sharing everything, and thanks for doing this, man.
No, absolutely.